What is up, everyone? Welcome to the association. We just watched Game 7 as a family, and the Spurs are going back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 12 years since 2014. They are the newly crowned Western Conference Finals champions. The Spurs defeat the defending champion Thunder 111-103 on the road. I'm Roz Goldon-Wood. I'll be your host for the night. I'm joined with NBA analyst Trevor Lane of the Front Office Show podcast. Trevor, how's that game got you feeling?
Roz, I'm feeling great. That was everything that we could have asked for. We were begging the basketball gods to please give us a Game 7 in this series, and not only did they deliver with a Game 7, but that was a classic. What a phenomenal game! And look, I'm going to be smiling to see such an amazing game.
I said heading into it, the two most exciting words in sports, Game 7. And this one delivered. I mean, we were calling it from the kind of beginning parts of the season, heading into coming out of the NBA Cup as well. This is a budding rivalry. And now we see the Spurs and the Thunder see each other for the 12th time this season. And it went down to it, just an epic battle throughout. So the Spurs are going to play the Knicks in the NBA Finals, defeating the OKC Thunder, and a new NBA champion will be named. Trevor, what impressed you most about the effort of the Spurs?
You know, we said it going into the game that the San Antonio Spurs had to come into this game and play with force, and they did exactly that. They were the aggressor in this game. I thought the depth, ironically, it was the depth of the Spurs that really won them the day. Historically, we've seen the depth of the Thunder that's really carried things for them, but it was the Spurs' depth. It was their ability to play with a lot of force throughout this game, and just the fact that they looked, despite being such a young team here, they looked completely at ease. They looked like the moment was not too big. The lights were not too bright. They looked like everything that was happening was what they expected to happen. And that I have to give them so much credit for that, because it's so difficult for a team this young to step up onto that stage, especially with players that are young, like Dylan Harper, who had a really big game off the bench. We saw Julian Champagnie have some big buckets as well. He lit it up in the third quarter, leading the team with 11 points. And that was as much as the focus is going to be on Victor Wembanyama, as it should be. This was a whole team effort from San Antonio, where the lights were never too bright for any of them. An absolutely phenomenal performance, and one for Spurs fans to be very proud of.
Yes, for the Spurs, 7 players scored in double figures, including the entire starting 5. And then on the podium, after when they were, celebrating winning the Western Conference Finals championship, Coach Mitch Johnson's being interviewed, and he said, they don't give a damn about the word experience. And so not only do you have to give props to the players, but also props to the coaching staff and Mitch Johnson and his ability to prepare this team for a stage and lights this bright. What can you say about the job of Mitch Johnson here in year 2, stepping in after Popovich?
Oh, he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, you can see it in the steadiness of the club. You can see it in every player knowing exactly what their roles are on the team, knowing exactly what's expected of them. And more than that, but the trust that you can tell that they have in each other. They know that the guy next to them is going to make the big play. The guy next to them has got their back. And there's a big element of team building that gets wrapped up into that. And in culture that we're seeing Mitch Johnson not bring, but continue for a San Antonio Spurs organization that has had now for decades. So he has done an incredible job with this team, deserves all of the flowers that he's going to be getting coming out of this series, to go into OKC in a Game 7 and knock out the defending champs that's considered one of the best teams that we've seen in years. Just an absolutely phenomenal job. And it speaks volumes to what level of coach they've got there in San Antonio.
Yeah, and one thing that stands out to me is immediately after the game, the amount of emotion pouring out of these guys, and especially from Wemby. I mean, when you see that level of intensity and emotional vulnerability from this team, what does that make you feel watching this young Spurs team? Because oftentimes, to even know why you feel it that personally, sometimes pain has to be a great teacher. Sometimes it has to come from falling short before, but this Spurs team is taking it like right there, and you can see the emotion pouring out them as they take each step forward.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal point, Roz. You know, there's this idea in the NBA and in sports in general that in order for a team to ultimately reach the peak of the mountain, you have to experience setbacks along the way. You've got to experience that pain. You've got to feel that. That's going to drive you moving forward. And this Spurs team, again, there's a wisdom beyond their years. They did not take this moment for granted. There was no moment in their minds that you could see where they thought, you know what, we're just happy to be here. No, there was none of that. They were determined, this is our time. We're not waiting till next year, because it's sports. You never know if next year is going to come. They did not take it for granted. They made sure that this was the year that they were going to go out there and get it done and get all the way to the NBA Finals. And they may get there for many years to come. This is a very good team that's going to be around for a long time, but they were ready for the moment and they did not take it for granted.
Great points, Trevor. Speaking of the youth and the depth that the Spurs were able to lean on, I said there were 7 players who scored in double digits. Well, one of them was Julian Champagny, and he had 20 points.